Oh, very interesting. Let's look at Donald Trump's bill, and after this, Wiki Free. This is about the big, beautiful bill, which I think is now through.
Which concerns a piece of legislation dear to President Trump's heart.
It's very quiet.
The one big, beautiful bill is among the most important
Dankeschön, mein Engelchen, danke.
pieces of legislation in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything bigger. And I said, let's make it one big, beautiful bill. We're voting essentially on the big, beautiful, that gorgeous, big, beautiful bill.
Stop it! Stop it right.
And I think they're now going to show you how the bill is fucking up the people badly. It helps the rich, but it fucks up the people. How can anyone still be blind to this? Let's see what they have to say about it.
Right now. First, the one big beautiful bill sounds either like a lumberjack with an OnlyFans page or a Pornhub tab for people who come to toucans. But it is truly massive, and it's currently moving through Congress after passing the House.
Don't comment on the fake laughter, okay? We're all used to it. We're looking at the content here.
By the narrowest of margins.
With cheers of USA,
Twitch time of day keeps World War III away. God bless.
Thank you, King Robert, man. Thank you.
Republicans passed their sweeping version of the president's agenda. Republicans in the House held 2 overnight sessions. In the end, Speaker Johnson eked out his biggest victory yet, winning by a single vote.
Wow.
Though the dark of night.
I always hear, I'm not that super educated, how a lot of people are now calling out Republicans for not having any balls. Donald Trump has created this atmosphere of if you are against him, if you fuck with him, you're in trouble. So all of them are like kissing his ass and yeah, we'll vote for the bill. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Pyrolls.
It cost him. One member who would have voted yes overslept and missed it.
It's true. It passed by a single vote, even though one representative, Andrew Garbarino, slept through it, which is a little surprising given his official portrait seems less sleepy and more...
How are you an elected official and you sleep through the vote on the big, beautiful bill? Am I just insane?
High on expired cough medicine. The bill's currently in the Senate, and Trump is pushing them to pass their version as soon as possible, posting, "To my friends in the Senate, lock yourself in a room if you must. Don't go home. Pass it immediately. No one goes on vacation until it's done." This whole process has been rushed to the point that some House members who voted for the bill later had to admit that they hadn't read all of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, arguably one of the worst things to come out of Georgia since the Trail of Tears, was upset when she learned the House version included a provision prohibiting states from restricting AI for the next 10 years.
This past week, I have come out in full transparency and said, when I voted for the one big beautiful bill, I didn't know about this clause.
Yeah,
Is it your fucking job to know? What the fuck is wrong? Am I... What? It's just everything I watch now is just what? What?
Not great, although to be fair, who among us hasn't approved things that we haven't read properly? It's why none of you noticed Apple's new terms and conditions technically give them rights to your firstborn child. It is true, Tim Cook is pulling a Rumpelstiltskin right now, and he's coming for them as soon as they can hold a tiny little screwdriver. But a lot of people don't know what's in this bill. About 2/3 of the public say they've heard little or nothing about it, but when they do, they don't like it. As polls show, those who've heard a great deal or good amount about it oppose it by a roughly 2-to-1 margin. Even some Senate Republicans will admit that not all their colleagues are thrilled about the bill's contents.
We could spend 4 weeks, we could spend 4 years. And when we're done, not every Republican senator is going to want a French kiss this final product. It's just not going to happen.
That is such a weird way to phrase that. Why would you force us all to imagine lawmakers tonguing a stack of paper? But as regular viewers know, Kennedy loves gratuitous sex talk, from inserting the phrase, "I like omelettes better than sex," into a discussion about, and this is true, USAID cuts, to this memorable moment.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth.
It's always good. And it is important to remember that in the records of Congress, there is an answer to the question, what if Foghorn Leghorn was a power bottom? And look, as of taping, the bill still needs to clear the Senate and then go back to the House, and things are still coming in and out of it. But the broad contours are clear. It is a massive redistribution of wealth upward, accompanied by gigantic cuts to critical programs for the most vulnerable. So given that, tonight, let's talk about the one big, beautiful bill, what it contains and what it will actually...
And one thing I like is, I gotta be honest, I have a friend in real life who's a big Trumper. I like him, he's a big Trumper. And he would always text me. He would always send me articles of how Trump is doing something good. He's very quiet right now. Didn't get a text in months. In Twitch chat, there's always a guy. Tommy, you're a libtard, you're wrong. Let me explain why the BBB is really good. No one there. No one there, man. Canned Noodle, I like him, but he's always wrong. Like, he's always wrong, right? It's gotten pretty quiet in that camp. It's gotten pretty quiet.
And let's start with the fact, when Trump talks about this bill, the main thing he emphasises is that it will extend the tax cuts Republicans passed in 2017 and add some more, which he claims will be good for everyone. The White House recently said it'll deliver a blue-collar boom, all caps, which sounds like a new special at IHOP tied to the Smurfs movie that'll make you immediately shit yourself. But that is more than a little misleading, because while the bill does contain tax cuts for basically everyone, their benefits are massively concentrated among the wealthiest Americans. In fact, 60% of the tax cuts would go to the top 20% of households. And you should know, just about every independent analysis agrees this bill would add trillions to the national debt. And to the extent the bill's tax cuts are going to be paid for at all, it'll be through slashing programmes that benefit the poor. And I want to talk about two key areas they're targeting: healthcare and food assistance. When it comes to healthcare, there are lots of cuts, both big and small. For instance, the bill fails to extend tax credits for healthcare premiums under the ACA, while adding burdensome paperwork that would make it hard for people to remain on the plans they already have. And I know that might not sound like much to you, but it's estimated those tweaks...
Same in Germany. The chancellor just raised the all health payments by 0.5%.
alone will lead to 4.2 million people becoming uninsured, which...
Isn't this insanity, man? Everyone is getting poorer and poorer and shit, but everything's getting more expensive. Everything's raised all the time. I'm fucking telling you, man. I don't know. I feel like... Oh, I'm wearing a red t-shirt. Well, there you fucking go.
Makes them pretty consequential tweaks. It'd be like changing RuPaul's Drag Race to Rand Paul's Drag Race. You can call it just a tweak, but it's about to make everything...
I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like the next 30 years, I might become a hardcore socialist, man. I don't know. I don't know where this journey is going for me. But lately, man, I'm becoming very, very... We gotta burn the governments of the world down, bro.
Way worse. But the big target here is Medicaid, the public insurance program providing health coverage to, among others, people with low incomes and disabilities. Though, this bill's defenders will insist Medicaid is safe.
I'm going to say this very clearly. Our legislation preserves Medicaid, strengthens Medicaid for the people who actually need it and deserve it.
Look, we're going to do everything we can to strengthen Medicaid, to preserve it for those who need it the most.
Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
I want you to have to.
Why is Elon even there?
OK, but there's a few problems there, starting with the fact following through on a promise not to touch something has never exactly been one of Trump's strong suits. Also, the math just doesn't support those claims. As one analysis puts it, major Medicaid cuts are the only way to meet House budget resolution requirements. And the big way this bill tries to do that...
I want to see something real quick. I want to understand that. It's hopefully a good source. Where does the budget go in America? Because I think social is probably not even that much, I would think. This is just insurance. And then I want to see where they're here. Budget. The U.S. budget spending. Here. Oh, 10% is Medicaid. 11% interest. Wow, that is so endgame capitalism. 6.1 trillion. Wow. Social security. Okay. What will be under mandatory? Shut up, fuckface. Other mandatory. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid account for nearly 75% of mandatory spending. So it is a lot. Yeah, they would have to cut that, but that's every country. Veteran benefits 5, Medicaid 15, Social Security, and what's this? Medicare. But it's only 4 billion. Was it 4 trillion? No, 4 trillion. It's 4 trillion. So it is a lot. Defense 13%. Not even that crazy.
Bomber-clad Americans, man.
Thank you, Tasman. My argument is just always, and I think I have facts on my side, if you're trying to make your budget bigger, there's a lot of outside sources. Unrealized taxation, tax havens, corruption, rich people not paying taxes, especially multinationals, Amazon, Google, etc., Cayman Islands, Ireland, etc.
is by adding work requirements for many low-income recipients who got coverage under Medicaid expansion, effectively removing a lot of them from the rolls. Basically, under the bill, to get Medicaid, they'd have to prove they worked, volunteered, or went to school for 80 hours a month. That alone is projected to cause over 5 million Americans to lose coverage by the end of the decade. Though to hear Mike Johnson tell it,
I've heard enough. Here's 10 billion for Israel.
It's just not a problem, because they're just targeting one specific group.
You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to...
They're talking shit about you, Chad. Do you feel attacked? The higher taxes for rich Americans will easily pay for a lot of good for the rest of the country, especially also the big companies. The big companies too.
Okay, 29-year-old males sitting on the couch playing video games? How is it possible that Mike Johnson always sounds so old and out of touch while also managing to look like a 12-year-old who dressed up as Stephen Colbert for Halloween? The problem with that argument is that most Medicaid enrollees are working. The most recent data shows that nearly 2 in 3 work. And most of the rest have a disability, are caring for family members, or are attending school. And yet, Republicans won't stop painting lurid scenarios of Medicaid freeloaders. For instance, here's the current head of Medicare and Medicaid.
I mean, that's always the problem. I think, as I'm getting on my socialist arc here, they're trying to make you think the enemy is down there. It's the poor. They don't want to work. It's the transgenders. It's the fucking refugees. But if you want to talk about people doing their fair share, what if we look up?
Services, who remember is inexplicably Dr. Oz, unloading the single weirdest hypothetical you will ever hear in your life.
Here's the metaphor. You get home at night with Lou, and there's someone sitting on your couch in the basement. You don't know them, but they have health insurance that you're paying for. And you say, listen, to keep his health insurance, I want you to apply for a job. You don't have to work. Just apply for a job, go get an education, volunteer somewhere, be involved in the community, or take care of one of the kids in the family, help out a little bit. If they say no, you say, well, I'm taking your insurance away. That's not an unreasonable deal to make.
Okay, let's just pause together.
It makes sense in the first sense, but it's probably completely out of context.
For a moment and unpack what he just described. In that scenario, you get home at night to find a complete stranger sitting on your couch in your basement. Naturally, the first thing they say is, hi, I have health insurance that you're paying for. But instead of screaming and immediately calling 911, you calmly say, okay, person I've never seen before, I'll let you keep the health insurance I just found out I'm paying for without asking who you are or how you got into my house. My one and only requirement is that you apply for a job.
80 hours a month, man.
You can use my Wi-Fi.
It's not even that much,
you
is
live
it?
in my basement now, and that's a reality I've quickly accepted. Or you can go get an education or volunteer or take care of one of my kids. Naturally, I trust you, a complete stranger, unexpectedly in my home with the lives of my children. And then this individual says, no, that doesn't seem reasonable to me. So you say, OK, well, you leave me with no other option. I'm going to have to take your insurance away. Obviously, you can still live in my house. That goes without saying, your family now. But you'll have to find a way to pay for your...
Man, get to the point. I love this guy. I love the content. But, man, you're making a 1-minute bit out of the couch thing?
Oh,
Jesus Christ, I want to kill myself.
That's not an unreasonable deal to make. But honestly, the weirdness of that scenario is actually preferable to what it sounds like when Dr. Oz gives you a glimpse into what he really thinks work requirements are for.
I have confidence in the American people. You give...
Who is Dr. Oz? What the fuck is Dr. Oz?
People a chance to work, and we know we have twice as many jobs as there are people looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there, do the entry-level jobs, get into the workforce, prove that you matter, get agency into your own life. It's a much more enjoyable experience if you're going through life thinking that you control your destiny, and you'll get better insurance at the same time.
Hold on. Prove that you matter? So a person only means something if they work. That is not true at all. In fact, if ever there were proof that you can work for decades while adding exactly zero value to society, it is Dr. Oz himself, who, as we've mentioned before, once did an episode of his show where he asked Cameron Diaz this.
Does this ever happen to you?
Luckily, no. I'm not a girl that gets constipated.
That is... the perfect facial response to that. That was on daytime television. That played in restaurants and waiting rooms. And as if work requirements weren't bad enough, many are worried that federal cuts to Medicaid will mean that states are likely to cut things like home and community-based supports, which will have huge consequences for those who rely on those services to literally keep them alive, as they have been trying to make people understand.
20% of Erie County residents receive Medicaid services, including more than 100,000 children. But that funding is now in jeopardy.
Advocates for people with disabilities say cuts to Medicaid could mean cuts to home health care, services that literally enable some residents to get out of bed each day.
I really truly believe that without Medicaid, without my direct care,
I mean, it's becoming very interesting now. What will actually happen? Like, what does this look like in 5 to 10 years?
workers, my personal care assistants, I would be dead.
Yeah, that woman clearly
Here's an article showing who pays the most federal tax. I will check that out in a sec.
deserves to have health care that keeps her alive, even in the insane theoretical situation that she's
Elderly are exempt. This is propaganda. Show me A, where it's exempt, and B, I think they're not. They're saying, I think you're listening wrong. They're saying that the states will need money from somewhere else to take care of the Medicaid cuts, and will then cut certain things like community services, or for example, these what do you call this? Health services.
somehow moved into someone.
I've read the bill. Send it to me. I'm literally interested. Show me the. It's very easy with AI. That elderly are exempt. You're probably right, but that's not what they said.
Basement with no warning, which to be clear has never happened to.
Like, if the bill says elderly are exempt, it doesn't mean that the states has to close certain things to cover the cost for Medicaid. That is not
anyone and never will. That would still be the case. And as if that weren't bad enough, and it really is, it is worth noting people not on Medicaid will be affected too, as it's a major source of funding for hospitals across.
What is even Medicaid? Medicaid is like medical healthcare for like poor people, people that are not doing so well. This bill doesn't go into effect until December 26th. Really?
The country. So with these cuts, rural hospitals are likely to be forced to reduce the services they offer, cut staff, or close altogether.
Yeah, and that would affect old people, Mr. PPQ.
We take all of the bill's provisions concerning healthcare together. The CBO estimates they'll result in 16 million more uninsured people in the year 2034 than would otherwise be the case. And it is not like people haven't tried to warn Republicans of the consequences here.
Did you mention you on Medicaid and you voted for Trump?
A few weeks ago,
holy
we
shit,
showed you
fucked
this clip
yourself
of
in the
Joni
ass.
Ernst delivering a bonkers response to concerned constituents at a town hall.
People are not, well, we all are going to die.
Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
For heaven's sakes, folks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty
Good argument.
bad. But incredibly, it's still not as bad as the sarcastic follow-up video that she posted the next day.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have...
She's on a graveyard, yeah. She's on a graveyard. She drove to a fucking graveyard. That is an elected official, a senator. Man, that's fucking insanity. The world is completely going insane.
...to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well.
What
Jesus
the
fucking
fuck is
Christ.
wrong with you? First, did
The
you
golf
actually
course?
drive
I don't think that's a golf course, man.
to a cemetery for your fun little video there? And second, no one was under the impression that we're all immortal, nor do we think the tooth fairy is
Jesus.
real, nor indeed the Easter Bunny. Now, do I happen to believe that leprechauns exist?
Thank you,
yes,
Nerd
but that's
King.
because
Thank
of
you,
a
man.
personal experience I once had in Dublin. I don't
Oh, look, it's Tommy. Haha, good joke, man. Put up your ass.
want to get into it now. Suffice to say, I'm down one pot of gold.
I waited for the first guy. 10-minute ban. I waited for the first guy. Prolle, you were the first. There you go.
And I know what I saw. But in any case, the problem isn't being naive to the concept of death. It's that this bill could make people die sooner than they otherwise would. So, that is healthcare. What about the other crucial programme on the chopping block here involving food? Well, this bill
PP is
also
very quiet
includes
all of a sudden.
massive cuts to SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programme, or food stamps. Currently, more than 41 million people receive benefits through it.
41 million people on benefits. Half of Germany. Insanity. Insanity.
Is the nation's
Crazy.
largest food aid programme. And this bill
Wow,
would
probably
reduce
the world's
federal
largest. Will reduce federal spending of SNAP by 300 billion over 10
by
years.
$287 billion over 10 years. Like the Medicaid cuts, a lot of that is being done through work requirements. SNAP already has those, but this bill's about to expand them significantly, including raising the age limit at which they apply from 54 all the way up
I think in the next decades we're going to see the downfall of USA. Slowly.
60.
Like, they will still be very, very strong, still be ranked 1, but their overall power is going to go down. Europe becomes more dependent. China is getting a lot of balls and
this
shit.
version would also strip exemptions from work requirements for veterans, people experiencing homelessness.
And if you ask yourself why is this empire crumbling, I would think it's the greed of the rich aristocracy of the US, because they are winning. Even if the US might fall down a bit in power, they are getting richer and richer, more and more powerful. They're fucking owning it, man.
And
they are not fucking up.
And guess who is completely fine with all that?
If you're going to get free food on a SNAP program, you have a work requirement. It's an obligation to try to work. You might not get a job, but you got to try.
Yeah, Dr. Oz is back with his pull yourself up by your own connections to Oprah bullshit. That man is a real piece of shit. Which piece of shit? Who can say exactly?
I never have number one, Chad. I never have that.
5 million people would be at risk of losing at least some of their food assistance. And on top of that, for the first time, the bill would require states to pay for a portion of SNAP benefits and cover more administrative costs. In fact, the CBO estimated that...
So it looks a bit like, if we talk a bit adult, unlike PP, that this bill looks bad, but will not have that much bad influence, because what the bill is kind of doing is pushing responsibilities of funding to the states. So the states are kind of the ones that have to handle this shit.
In a 10-year period, this would shift about $121 billion in costs to state governments, which has a lot of people worried because states may not be able to afford that, and those added costs could force them to shrink SNAP eligibility or even leave the program altogether. And it is not like food banks can easily pick up the slack here, as the head of one in Iowa will tell you.
SNAP is the most effective tool that we have to fight hunger in the United States.
Riverbend Food Bank President Chris Ford says for every meal his food bank provides, SNAP gives out 9 meals.
We would not be able to meet the needs of all those individuals. It would be unprecedented times for food banks.
Yeah, it's not great to hear the phrase unprecedented times for food banks, given they just survived a global pandemic. In the same way that I'd be nervous to hear that it's going to be an unprecedented year for Katy Perry. What more can possibly happen to her? She went...
I fucking hate Katy Perry right now, because every day, maybe I can show you. Every day I go to the grocery store, I see this. Katy Perry Milka chocolate. When I go to the grocery store right now, I see this everywhere, and I don't know what's going on. Why does she look like that? Is she turning into Super Saiyan? Is she in the Marvel Universe? What is this? What, all the fakeness? I see this every fucking day. Every day. And it's just like, why? Why do we need Katy Perry to sell German's chocolate? Why? I fucking hate it.
To space and fumble this historic baddie. Orlando, I need you to contact me urgently. One of my writers is single and is pointing a loaded gun at me as I read this to you. And at this point, it is worth pausing
to
explain what's really going on here with both Medicaid and SNAP. Because even if you're thinking, well, maybe work requirements are needed and limits should be put on who gets these benefits, there are some important things you should know. First, study after study has shown work requirements do not increase work. What they do cause is large drops in program participation, including, crucially, a lot of people who are actually still eligible to receive help. And the reason for that is something called...
Another thing here from Socialist Tommy is that, look, I agree with the polemic and superficial statement we have in Germany too. Everyone who's able to work should work. Okay, yeah, 100%. I agree with that. But as he also says, it's a bit more complex than that. And another problem is you want to push people to work on the American work market by cutting stuff like this. But the problem is, not only is it hard to find the correct stuff, the right stuff, is there even something in my city? But also, you go, this is a big problem in Germany. You take a job and they pay you the minimum wage. The minimum average wage in America is $7.25, I think. So you finally work and you feel like it's nothingness. There's many instances in Germany where you get more money from the benefits, 500 something euros, than if you actually take some of these shitty jobs, man, and stuff like that. So you have this, you create this atmosphere where, okay, I want to find a job and I'm now considered a worker in the statistics, but my work is terrible, shitty pay, makes me depressed. something to like think about. Not saying
administrative burdens.
not judging it, but
all the obstacles between someone and a program they're qualified to receive, from paperwork to interviews to regular check-ins and recertification, which can wind up kicking them off. This happens much more than you'd think. One survey of people who were eligible for but not participating in SNAP found that 40% were deterred by the paperwork involved, and another 37% noted that the application was too time-consuming given...
Do you get more? I can explain for my dad. My dad is handicapped. He has a broken body, and he has a document that proves he cannot work more than something hours. So, in Germany, the unemployed benefit right now, Hartz IV, what they renamed it, Bürgergeld, citizens payment, is I think something 500 something. I don't know, Chad. Is there any jobless people? Phony. It's 500 something euros. My dad could start a mini job at a construction site for a mini job thingy, which I think is the same money, 450, 500 euros. So he would go, I don't know how many hours, not that much, but it's called a mini job. He will go to construction site and work his body, work hard, and he gets kind of the same money than just sitting at home doing nothing with this mini job. It's a mini job though. So that's one example of why the fuck would my dad take that offer, right? Why would he take that? It's 10 hours a week? 10 hours a week, yeah. Why would he fucking take that if he gets more money from the thing?
...their family and work responsibilities. And SNAP's administrative...
And my dad just got fired, man. It's very, very sad. A little story. My dad is a great guy. He's a great construction worker, but his body's broken. So my dad is a big talker like me. He will meet this man, and this man has a company. He has a company that takes old houses, makes them new, and sells them. And this guy will meet my dad, and it was very beautiful, actually. I was very proud for my dad. This guy will say, man, I hate all these young people. They're all lazy. You're an old man. You probably know your way around. You know what? I want to hire you, man. So he hired my dad. My dad had his first fucking job in 10 years. The reason this man hired my dad, though, is this man got a benefit from the government. Because this man hired a jobless person, my dad, he would get government money. After 1 year, they cut that money. So he, after 1 year, said, sorry, bro, I gotta fire you because after all, this is a negative net worth for me. If I don't get the government funding, my dad is jobless again. But my dad is happy. He's fine. He's fucking chilling, bro.
The burdens have meant that even those who do keep trying can still wind up going without. As this couple with 5...
But my dad is also a retard. My dad is a fucking retard. His body is utterly broken. And my dad was on a construction site 2 months ago. And he will pick something up wrong. So he broke his back, Bandscheibenvorfall. He needed an operation. Last week he had an operation. So it's kind of he's also a fucking idiot. So, yeah.
Children learned during the pandemic.
He always picks up stuff that's too heavy for him, and then he breaks his back.
Income needs to be under $52,000. What's your best
Runs in the family
of your yearly income now?
It's like 20,000 or under.
Why watching John Oliver? Why
For the two
not?
of you, that's combined.
What's your argument?
That's combined.
That's combined. You've applied for the SNAP program.
We've been denied several times. It said that I need to turn in verifications of...
Yeah. But Apple laptop, yeah. Right, guys?
Employment for jobs that Barry hasn't had in years.
Company doesn't even exist anymore.
Has it been hard to get people on the phone?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no
Wait, sorry, did they say 2 people making 20K? Holy fuck, man. What's going on there? No hate, but what? 2 people making 20K.
I have no idea how I'd get the last company I worked for on the phone either, especially as that company was AT&T. I guess my best bet for contacting them would probably be to whisper my complaint into a bottle and throw it into the Hudson River. I can't see any other way.
Is Tommy Liptard? Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So basically, this bill is taking all that bureaucratic bullshit and somehow making it even worse. And Republicans will insist these new work requirements will work.
I would have a question for you, Chat. Can anyone find me a YouTube video where they talk about the big beautiful bill positively? I would like to show 2 sides. Can anyone find a video that talks about the bill positively? I would love to watch that.
And that no one truly deserving will be left behind. But we know that is not true. And maybe the best way to show this
Trump's
is to look
Twitter?
at Georgia and a state program called Pathways to Coverage. It's a program that rolled out there a few years ago, and Republicans apparently use it as a possible template for restructuring Medicaid. Pathways offers health insurance with work requirements, and it launched with testimonials from people like this man who owns an auto repair shop.
Became a member of Pathways in the last year. Pathways is a great program that offers insurance to low.
It's from Fox News.
Former President Barack Obama wrote on X.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that. I want to show both sides.
and working professionals.
Let's do something. It's very early. Let's do some TommyKay news. I don't mind.
Recommend it because again, it offers that avenue to you for you to have
I just got off the house.
insurance where you otherwise would not.
Thank you guys.
Now, Thanks very much. That sounds good. A working man getting health insurance. Dr. Oz would call him someone who matters. Mike Johnson would call him not 29 and playing Halo, so both would presumably think he's a good
I never knew
candidate.
Halo. Oh, scheiße, sorry. Oh, no. Oh, God.
Myself, but I highly recommend.
Last night, I listened to the entire lore of Halo. I never played Halo. I know nothing about Halo. Last night, I listened to it for the first time. Kind of cool with like the flood and shit, which makes parasites of each species. Kind of cool. For the first time ever, yesterday. Cool story. Nice.
Recommend it because again, it offers that avenue
Thank you, Winston.
for you to have.
Thank you.
Health insurance where you otherwise would not.
Now, on his face, that sounds good. A working man getting health insurance. Dr. Oz would call him someone who matters. Mike Johnson would call him not 29 and playing Halo, so
not playing
both
shitty Halo,
would
Chad.
presumably think he's a good candidate for health insurance. It's no wonder he became the de facto face of the
All the
program.
best.
Unfortunately,
Thank you,
it
Gorka.
quickly became
Thank you,
clear
man.
Pathways had significant problems, particularly regarding how its work requirement was getting administered. People 50 and older had an especially hard time proving they met the requirements, which forced them to provide paperwork verifying their work status every single month. That can be hard, especially if you're not computer savvy or don't have reliable internet. There were stories like the man who had to spend more than an hour every month uploading.
I'm gonna be a bit of an
employment
asshole for a second because
documents
I like stirring up drama. Every time there's a guy in chat who's like, Tommy's a libtard, why are you watching this? I always say, yeah, what about it? Talk to me. And they never say anything. There's never much coming from there.
He confirmed his eligibility, often using the free Wi-Fi at his public library. And this director of a clinic for low-income patients reported that none of her patients had enrolled, and she wasn't surprised.
The qualifications are just too steep. You know, I have patients that I have to put A on the pill bottles if they take them in the morning, and P on the pill bottles if they take them at
Because
night.
John Oliver sucks.
And you
He's unfunny, but I
expect
think the
these
content is
people
very
to be able
important.
to upload
I have a theory
documents
I believe
and renew
in.
their health
I have a theory I believe in. The global... How do I explain this in English well? Some of the top voices of a global revolution or movement against the status quo of oligarchy doesn't come out of the opposition, like, for example, Democrats in this case, but from comedians. I think a lot of comedians, especially in America, are kind of the voice of the revolution. They're critical, satirical, they make jokes about it, they, like Bill Burr, man, stuff like that. I think they're very... In Germany, we have a thing called Kabarett, which is political jokes. For me, the biggest political show in Germany is a comedy show that talks about politics in a comedic way. I think they're doing a great, you know, comedians are a big part of revolutionary spirit. Some of them, if you're like a political comedian.
Insurance monthly.
Heute Show, yeah.
She's right.
Böhmermann.
Benevolent Anna Wintour is right, because...
Right, these people all started as comedians, and now they do these political contents.
Just think about it. No matter who you are, uploading documents can be challenging. Have you
part
ever
of
tried to
revolution.
upload
Damn,
new
that's deep,
patient
bro.
forms to a doctor's online portal? It is a nightmare. You click the upload button and select the PDF of your form, but then the site says something like, PDF files not accepted. Please upload...
Yesterday, I'm in a tram, me and Lisa and the kid, and I'm in a good German. I go to the automat inside the tram, and I want to pay for a ticket. So I swear to fucking God, true story. So I'm clicking 2 tickets, it's €4.80. I put my card, beep, and then it says on the screen, our printer is broken, can't give you a ticket. Would you like a receipt? I'm like, yes. The whole tram looks at me. Printer broken, sorry. I go to Lisa, I'm like, I couldn't get tickets. I go on my phone, I can show you right now, I'm not gonna. I go to my phone, I open my banking app, minus €4.80. Alhamdulillah, these fucking capitalist scumbags. Puh, Alter.
.gulp files, except you've never heard of gulp files before, so you Google how do you convert PDF to gulp, and the results say that you need an app called Gulp Transformer that costs $9.99, and so you go back and search free PDF to gulp converter, and finally find a site that says you can do it with Adobe Acrobat, but first you have to convert the PDF to a MOOCs file, and then convert the MOOCs to a gulp, and at that point you just throw your fucking computer out the window. Even people savvy enough To navigate Georgia's system, found it hard. One single mother wasn't able to enrol because she said the portal crashed each of the 3 times she tried to apply, and after calling the customer service line, she bounced around from one robot voice to another before ultimately
that sounds
giving up.
about real
Even
in
that
every country.
repair shop owner had his benefits cancelled twice due to bureaucratic red tape. He described one of those times saying, "My head exploded, I didn't get a text or an email, I did what I was supposed to do, but that wasn't good enough," which is a pretty startling U-turn from the face of pathways to coverage. It'd be like Jane Goodall suddenly saying, "You know what? Fuck chimpanzees. They're stupid, hairy arseholes, and if I could strangle everyone until they went extinct, I would." Jesus Christ, Jane, what happened? And this administrative clusterfuck wasn't cheap either. By the end of last year, the Pathways program cost federal and state taxpayers more than $86 million, 3/4 of which had gone to consultants, and
Consultants are the biggest winners in this world, huh? Everyone's paying consultants. There was a study about where the German taxpayer money, how it goes into the military, and it's mostly consultants.
A mere 6,500 participants.
Consultants often seems to be a word for like corruption. Like some company, hey, I'm consulting you, give me some money.
And remember, that's the program.
You want to be rich, become a consultant.
Apparently modelled their new Medicaid policy on. So if that's what's coming on a national scale, that is fucking terrifying. As one source put it to us, the term people
I'm a consultant, you must be rich,
work
man.
requirements, but that's a misnomer. You should really think of it as a paperwork requirement. And look, I would say that eligible people losing coverage is an unintended consequence. But I think it's the whole point here. Because the vast majority of cost savings that you're getting from instituting something like a work requirement don't come from kicking people off Medicaid and SNAP who don't qualify. They come from kicking off people who do, but who now can't get it because of the burdens you've just put in place. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And the true hypocrisy is, it is not like Republicans aren't up in arms about administrative burdens in other contexts, because when it comes to regulations on businesses, they just never shut the fuck up about it.
I was tired of hearing small businesses say we can hardly make it because of the stack of paper we have to fill out.
Every hour spent on paperwork is an hour not spent on growing their business.
This paperwork and red tape will bury workers and businesses trying to make a living.
Small businesses continuously list Washington red tape and regulation as a top issue, keeping them from growing and in too many cases, simply surviving.
You know, it is pretty striking how horrified Joni Ernst sounds at the idea of businesses struggling to survive. But when it comes to vulnerable human beings, all of a sudden she's like, you know what, grow up, death happens.
Oh, that's her?
Worms will eventually eat everything you love. Someday a real rain's going to wash the scum from these streets. Ernst 2026, we're all going to die. And look, I get that red tape can be a problem for businesses, but this is medicine for the sick and food for the hungry. The stakes are just higher. And the burdens this bill is about to impose won't just be kicking 29-year-old gamers and Dr. Oz's imaginary basement squatters off the rolls. They can impact single moms, working people, and those who fear that they would be dead without assistance.
Especially people with no voice. You don't see these people on any media.
Because they know how toxic it is. It may have even passed the Senate by the time you are watching this. And while I know there is a lot going on right now, it is worth paying attention to this bill, because if it becomes law, we're going to be looking back on it decades from now, the same way we look back at all the destructive shit that Reagan did. And when that happens, Republicans cannot say they didn't know what was in it or what it would do.
I saw this meme online gag, which might offend you, where it's like every time there's a Republican president, they destroy everything and help the rich with terrible bills. I mean, the Democrats are in power, it's not that bad. They don't destroy everything. But they always like do bad stuff, Patriot Act and shit like that. I want to watch one video where someone is positive about this bill. Fox News with 35 minutes is a bit much. It's a bit much. I want to see one positive thing. This looks really boring. Oh, this looks like, ugh. We trust your explanation. Okay. Who's this guy?
I just got off the House floor. We just voted for the big, beautiful bill. You know, I know there's been a lot of back and forth.
This one is better? Is it really? Take 24 like a man, okay? Everybody's gonna treat you like a hero. What a great guy you are. Take the 24 like a man, okay, buddy? He got you? Yeah, he got me. Good job. Good job.
on this bill over the last, couple weeks, couple months.
Is that bullets? That's not. Wait, that's bullets, right?
Across the finish line.
Is that a PlayStation game?
I want to acknowledge, before I start going through the list of some of the wins that we made for the American people, there are plenty of things in this bill I don't like, many Americans don't like, but I think overall it's a good bill because it's coupled with a very strong and strategic overall strategy from the administration.
I don't think that's cigars, man. That's bullets.
We obviously didn't get everything that we wanted. A lot of that had to do with members of our own party only being willing to give so much on different issues, but it also had to do with the Senate blocking and stripping out a lot of the good stuff that we sent over from the House product, and also the parliamentarian. Some of you that have been watching this closely know that the parliamentarian stripped out a lot of our good stuff as well. And so I don't want to focus this video as much on the things that we didn't like about it, but
I like when politicians make videos like that. I think every politician should do that. That they explain what they did and what happened. I really like that. If I was ever the Chancellor of Germany, I will do every day a 5-minute video explaining what happened in a day.
And really good for the American people. This bill delivers the largest tax cut in American history for middle class and working class Americans, period. I think that's going to be fantastic for you guys. I think it's going to be good for your pocket.
Well, how much? I'm super interested. I want to, like, how much does ChatGPT up to date with that? The big, beautiful bill supposedly is cutting taxes for the middle class. What exactly is written about that in it? I think this might be too much for ChatGPT. I don't know if he's that clever. It even has a section based on legislative text HR 1. Nice, cool, from Congress. Nice. Implements a deduction effectively exempting up to $25,000 in tip income from federal income tax. Okay, nice. That's nice, I guess. The question is, how much money does that cost the state, though? You shouldn't even tax tips anyway, man. Like, what the fuck? Why did Shimaev leave Stockholm, Texas? Introduces an above-the-line deduction of up to 12.5K for overtime pay until, okay. Allows up to $10,000 in annual deductible interest on new auto loans. Permanently increases credit from plus $200 per child with a refundable, okay. Permanently keeps slightly raises the TCJA standard deduction. At 6,000 extra standard deduct. Okay, something good for. There's some good stuff here if this applies to you. The main question will be: is the benefits or the negative outweighing each other? Protects the TCJA brackets. Makes the current tax bracket of 10 to 32 permanent, preventing them from reverting to higher rates. According to the Joint Committee of Taxation, taxpayers earning under $50,000 receive the largest benefit. Isn't that a good thing? With cuts ranging from... So what they're kind of doing is they take away from the poor to give it to the middle class. Which you kind of could agree... I feel like some people would agree with that. That's what I'm reading right now. I don't know what the... Range from blah, blah, blah. The House Ways and Means Committee projects typical middle-income families to gain up to 7.2K more in wages. That's like really good. It's just temporary though. Name the main points of the big beautiful bill. I wonder if the benefits or disadvantages overweight. Let's go back to him.
Your bank accounts, and I think it's going to be great for the economy. We've got no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on USA auto loans.
Taxes on donations,
We've also got a permanent increase to the child tax credit in this bill, which supports over 40 million families. This bill also rescinds billions in the Green New...
Sometimes I imagine I live in America. I think this bill would help me, I think I would benefit from this. Like slightly, not that...
Scam funding.
Like maybe like $2,000 or $3,000.
Very tough fight for us. We didn't get as much as we wanted, as I alluded to in my opening, but the president did commit to the House Freedom Caucus that he's going to do everything in his power to clean up everything that we weren't.
It's just 3 years
in this bill, and based on how I've seen the president act in the past.
It didn't say that here that it's only 3 years.
I know he campaigned on getting rid of this in its entirety.
You're sick so often you'll be bankrupt if you visit the doctor once.
Power to keep it, so I'm grateful to the president for that.
Until 2028.
And also the work we did in this bill for all these green new energy products that are harming the American grid. They're making energy less reliable, more costly, and it's also a national security issue when we continue to buy the supplies necessary from overseas, especially countries like China.
Yeah, you buy nothing from China, my friend. Nothing comes from China.
It also eliminates fraud, waste, and abuse in several government agencies. It's the biggest mandatory spending cut since 1997. Okay, you know, this is one of the areas that a lot.
And
of
then they will blame the next president.
We wanted so much more than what we actually got.
I wonder who gets the Democratic
Washington
thing,
and how
but who
pathetic
cares
this
really?
place is, it's pretty historic. The levels of cuts that we got in this bill in mandatory spending. Okay, this bill also deports at least 1 million illegal aliens a year. It makes the largest investment in border security in a generation, to the tune of about $150 billion to secure our border and deport illegal aliens, just as the president promised he would do, and just as those of us who were campaigning alongside him promised we would do. It also finishes phase 2 of the border wall. I know this has been a big issue for many of us for a very long time. It also funds the ability to hire 10,000 new ICE agents, 5,000 customs officers, and 3,000 Border Patrol agents. This bill also funds the Golden Dome missile defense system to confront 21st century threats to our country. It also delivers the largest Coast Guard upgrade since World War II, stopping fentanyl and the criminal cartels that have been raining chaos.
I like that we're watching a video on the other side. I really like doing that.
For a very long time now. This bill
This
also
all sounds like great, but you have to ask yourself, who's paying for it?
It needs to be ready for any threat that we face around the world.
They're giving 170 billion to ICE, but that's kind of what you voted for. You wanted a president that fucks with the illegal immigrants, and he's doing that. It kind of makes sense.
Biden's war on American energy and drives down.
But I heard this is making the debt of America going really, really high.
Costs. This bill also unleashes domestic oil, gas, and nuclear power, restoring our energy dominance. So like I said, guys, this isn't an exhaustive list. I thought these were some of the most important elements of the bill that I wanted to read.
It will add $3 trillion to the debt.
I also want to thank the president and his team for spending so much time.
The thing is also, you don't have to care about debt. The future, there's a tattoo, man. Tattoo, bullets, video games. I like this guy.
We can just not only laying out his vision for this bill, but also laying out the reasons why we couldn't go further, the strategic reasons, the political reasons, and laying out his vision and plan for how do we clean up some of the rest of this stuff.
Okay, let me read that again. We're almost done, you chat. It's just very early still. I like to read on this stuff. Okay, lower taxes, boost middle income class, free deductions, tips, overtime car loans, etc. Encourage business investments, extends the 100% bonus depreciation and other business write-offs. Most provisions last until 2028, but the core rate changes are made permanent. Okay. Benefits and disadvantages. So the benefits kind of are lower tax bills for families and workers, especially below 100K, which sounds really good. Increases take-home pay, especially from non-taxed overtime and tips. Higher child tax credit. I would love that in Germany. Dude, everyone says we need more fucking kids in Germany. Everywhere we need more fucking... Well, give me a fucking tax break. Fucking hell, right? Why the fuck would I make more kids if you just fuck me in the ass? That's something I really believe in, man. And with that, I really agree here with this bill. If someone raises a kid, the problem is, right, you have like a junkie making 7 kids, right, to get these benefits. Some kind of benefit to people with kids, man. Predictability for taxpayers and businesses. The TCJAs won't expire. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Advantages. Could be up to 4.6 trillion debt. Ay. Benefits screw to the wealthy over time. Per critics. Top earners still gain via capital and estate tax tweaks. I don't understand that. I don't understand yet. They're helping the middle class. How is this helping the rich? Because of capital and estate tax tweaks. Temporary perks for workers expire in 2028. Unlike the permanent corporate tax breaks, this sometimes feels like a scam. They're like, hey, I have something good for you for 3 years, but then you get fucked, but my corporate buddies, it's permanent. No offsetting cuts or new revenue to balance this lost tax income. Explain how the rich benefit more, please. It's like a scam, right? It's like a scam. The bill reduces the top capital gain tax rate from 20 to 15. I don't know what that means. And raises the income threshold for when the higher rate kicks in. That's good. That will really help me as a streamer. The wealthy earn a large share of the income from investments, not wages. So this tax cut affects them. Why? Millionaires pay less tax on stock sales now and dividends. Ooh. While working families who rely more on wages don't benefit. Ooh. Ooh. And 2028 is also the election time. Damn. And this is permanent. So that's kind of fucking evil. That is the oligarchy. Estate tax, like the death tax, loopholes are expanded. The bill raises the estate tax exemption to 25 million per person from up to 14 million. Also, certain trust and family businesses are exempted completely. Who benefits? The top 0.1% of households even pay estate tax. So this change is exclusively for the ultra super rich. Like Trump. One thing I saw that in German TV shows that what Trump is doing right now, he's using his power as president for his own businesses. For example, he did his first ever foreign flight to the Arab countries where he was selling golf courses at a Trump Tower and shit like that. More wealth can be passed to heirs tax-free now, concentrating general wealth further. Pass-through business income deduction. The 20% deduction of pass-through business income is made permanent. I don't know what the fuck that means. While many small businesses qualify, high-income professionals like law firm partners, hedge funds, and consultants often use pass-through entities to shelter their income. Wealthy individuals reduce their effective tax rates on business income sometimes to below oh, it's like a scam they use to pay less taxes, and it's easier now. Deductions like the overtime pay, car loans, interest, and even tip exemptions will expire after 3 years, whereas the wealthy provisions stay permanent. Long story short, after now assessing this a little bit, the big beautiful bill, from my perspective, looks like a massive fucking scam. It's a great move of oligarchy to help the rich and Trump's friends. That's what it looks like in the end. The big beautiful scam. Summary of the latest federal tax income data. Who's paying most taxes? After this, I think I'm done, chat. New internal revenue service, blah, 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 2022. In 2022, taxpayers filed 160 million tax returns. That's so low. Reported earningly 15 trillion. The average income tax rate is 14.5%. Oh, I wish, Alter. The top 1% of taxpayers paid 23%. Oh, America's a beautiful country. Oh, I would fucking kill for that. The top 1% income share fell from 26 to 22%. And its share of federal, this is 3 years ago though. The top 50% of all taxpayers paid 97% of all federal taxes. Blah, blah, blah. Whoa, what's this? I'm too dumb for this. Summary of federal income taxes. Okay, I'm too dumb for this. The average tax rate is 26% for the... That is so amazing. I take everything back. I love Donald Trump. I love America. I would love to live in America. 26% if you're top 1%. Income tax. Now I'm sad. Now I'm sad. Fuck. I talk so much about America, I now want to live there. Until you have to pay the health bills. Damn, man. You know, top 1% though? I am in Germany. How much would... I think you're very wrong. I want to show you how wrong you are. How much would I have to make per month to be considered top 1% in the US? I'm quite sure it must be up to $5,000 or $8,000. I think you're very, very wrong. Oh my god, okay, you're very right. Holy shit, excuse me? Alter. You gotta make 58,000 per month? Who the fuck does that? Like, excuse me? But Germany? I think I googled once, it's 5k or 8k. What? There's no fucking way. Digga, have fun. Have fun, man. Have fun making 60,000 a month. Yeah, that's... Well, that's also not me. That's not me. Well, before taxes, yes. Before taxes,
Thanks
yes.
for all the wonderful
I'm
content,
kinda
Tommy.
close to
Much
that.
love.
But after taxes, I have not that much left. Yeah, like, the brand TommyKay makes that per year, but then you have to take 50% away and pay more code. So, yeah. Thank you, Attacker Stern. Well,
She slipped through my fingers like sand. Heard that she got a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, ship sail. She slipped through my fingers like sand.